We are the Screen Team, and we are back on this Saturday evening with a brand new edition of the show. It's a full-hour edition of the show. We'll have Kyle a little bit later on in the show talking some sports documentaries. But first up, we've got Miss Laura Butler in the studio. We've got some fun movies with her this evening. We're going to be doing movies like... Exactly. Pitch Perfect. And we're also going to be doing the new Pete's Dragon and the How I'm Single, or It's Great to Be Single, or that one movie. You know what I'm talking about, right?
One movie.
We'll do that one next, man. Hopefully we'll figure out the name of it after the break. But first up is Pitch Perfect. And I'll let you get into it here in a second, but let me say my piece a little bit. This was a movie that I guess when it came out, I didn't really give it two thoughts. You know, I was like, oh, this is another Glee kind of thing. I don't have nothing to do with it. But then my friend said that he watched it and he laughed hysterically. So I got to watch it on HBO, at least parts of it, you know, and I was like, oh my God, this movie's hilarious. And when you said you wanted to review it for the Screen Team, I got to watch it in its entirety. And this is just a fun movie, Laura.
It's hilarious, yeah.
What's the overall concept of this movie? Is it just about singing?
I mean, there's a little bit of everything in there. I mean, there's your little love story, and then, I mean, obviously the humor, and then there's some, I mean, I guess depending on what your perspective is, like there's the one of the central characters is Fat Amy, and she calls herself Fat Amy.
Right.
And she's very confident in herself, and she's like, there's one scene where they call her up and like she's like in a pool being like fed grapes by like these super studly hot guys, and she's like, oh, I'm so glad we're getting out of here, all my boyfriends are driving me crazy, you know. And like it's a really good message because Rebel Wilson plays this part, and it's kind of a cool message to girls of that age, you know, that college age. You're so insecure about when you go off because, you know, you're in college and like, you know, what you look like is such a huge thing. And she just doesn't care. Yeah. She does not care what anyone thinks. She's just upfront and honest, except for about her name. And she's just hilarious, and her confidence spells out so much. I just think that gives a pretty good message to, you know, girls to say, you don't have to look like the skinny girls to be the coolest girl in the group, you know? And that really impressed on me.
I liked her scenes with the leader of the Flecktones or whatever, you know, the really snobby looking Troublemakers. I was close, wasn't I?
No. Bumper.
I like their scenes together, man.
Yes.
Because they're like, oh, I don't want nothing to do with you, but I'd like to hook up with you later. You know?
And she's like, yeah, well, I kind of thought about doing crystal meth too. But then I was like, nah.
There's so many great one-liners in here, and I'm trying to remember them. I can't, but you just find yourself laughing like, did they just say that? That's hilarious,
You'll quote it without thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like, because my nephew, and I mean, he literally, when this movie came out, he was in love with it. Like, he's always found movies as he's grown as from a little kid, you know, that he just like thinks they're hilarious. Like, first it was like the Medea movies.
Right.
And he would go around saying like, oh, Lord, you know, and all this stuff.
Hello.
You know? Hello. Yeah. He would go around saying that when he's like 4 years old.
Yeah.
And people were just like, oh my gosh, this little kid knows these Medea lines, like full lines from the movie.
Yeah.
And when we watched Pitch Perfect, he was just like the singing and the choreography and like the lines and everything. It was just fascinating to him. Now, it is a little inappropriate for kids. He probably should not have been watching it that young, but it's not dirty. It's not a dirty movie.
And a lot of those things, I think, will go over the kids' heads, don't you think?
Most children are not going to get the innuendo in it.
Right.
Yeah. But there's so many parts that come to mind. Like, I mean, Fat Amy's probably my favorite character just because she's the funniest. She really is the funniest in the whole movie.
What about those TV commentators? I thought they were pretty funny, too.
Oh, yeah. They're very inappropriate. Yes, there's, what is the guy's name? He's also in The Ugly Truth as one of the anchor people. Mm-hmm. And he just...
Elizabeth Banks is the other one.
Yes. And their commentary from the booth about the actual a cappella competition it's just ridiculous to hear the names of the different groups.
Yeah.
The Sockapellas was one, and then the Troublemakers and the the Bellas, and there's just so many different ones. But the one, hers was, she was one of the menstrual cycles. And I mean, there's probably people hearing me right now that don't even know the joke that goes with that.
Yeah.
But, it's just very cleverly written.
Yeah, I agree.
And very amazing ad lib.
Yeah.
And the singing's pretty awesome, too. And a lot of those girls actually sing. Anna Kendrick, she's a singer. I mean, she's a performer, Broadway.
And she had a hit song with the movie as well.
Yes.
Was it Paper Cups or Cups or something like that?
Cups, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I know what the song is. It's the one she tries out for the Bellas with.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you for a second. I was kind of jealous of the guy who plays the love interest of Anna Kendrick. Like, that is the guy that I want to be. Very smooth, very like, hey, I'm a nerd, but I'm going to hit on you, but it's going to be a cool way of hitting on you. You know what I mean? He was just like, the whole time he's sitting on Anna Kendrick, but
she blows him off.
But he's doing it in a way what's not stalker-like,
right? But
very, very cool.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a moviecation.
I was like, man, I want to be that guy.
Yeah, but you're very similar to that guy because he's all about like Star Wars and 80s movies and good music. Good music. This is like, I could just see you and Sabrina in the radio station thing.
Where he's doing the album covers.
The album covers. Yes, absolutely. Like, it made me think of you guys because she's looking at him like, you're an idiot, and he's just like, whoop.
And I guess his roommate in the dorm, he wants to be on. He wants to be on the Glee Club team.
He wants to be a troublemaker.
But he's into magic, right?
Yeah, he's into close-up magic.
What was that line you were telling me off mic? Where they're like, your smell...
Yes, he goes at their, like, kind of like their rush or whatever, like where they're going to like meet different groups to decide what they want to do on campus. And he goes, he's like, there's no other group on the campus that you want to be affiliated with. They're it. And he points to the troublemakers who are over there singing their little acapella stuff. And Benji, I think is his name.
Right.
Anyway, he walks over and he's like, Bumper, I'm a huge fan, man. I've been following you for, your arrangement of Love and something. He's like, was magical for me. And Bumpers looks at him. He's like, dude, the smell of your weird is actually affecting my vocal cords. I'm going to have to ask you to scoot. Skedaddle. Get. And like, he's just like, oh, like heartbroken.
Yeah.
But he's very stalkerish, and like very strange. But his life ends really well in this movie. So
it's a fun movie, and pretty much every character in this movie, maybe with the exception of Anna Kendrick at first, you're rooting for and you like.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
Yes. She's kind of the downer in the movie. Like she's just kind of she's so jaded.
Oh, I hate college. I hate this.
Yeah,
I hate
she's
that.
a drag.
Yeah.
She really is a drag. But like the best thing that she does in the whole movie is when they come out of the competition and the old guys are out there singing, and the guy's like, I want you to kick me in the junk as hard as you can. And everybody's like, no. And she's like, I'll do it. She goes, oh, boom. And he's just like, oh, great. That's awesome. And then she gets arrested for it. But that's like the only really funny thing she does in the whole movie. Because all the girls that are in the group, they're all individually hilarious. The Asian chick that whispers everything under her breath. Right. And she's like, I set fires to feel pleasure. And all these weird things, And then the weird Indian guy, he's like, you're adorable. It's just these funny little bitty inside the movie lines that make it really funny. I agree. It doesn't go along with anything in the plot. It's just like these little, and I wonder if a lot of them weren't ad libs.
Yeah.
Because if you watch the outtakes, you just see them just dying laughing because they can't, like Rebel Wilson will say something off the wall and they're all just like, it screws up the whole scene because everybody starts laughing at her, so I found it very entertaining.
I did too. It's a really, really good movie. It's called Pitch Perfect. They made a sequel, which came out last summer, and they're making another sequel, which is coming out next summer. So be on the lookout for that. And be on the lookout for our next review. I'm not sure what the name of it is, but we'll review it next. It's coming your way next on KWOC.